To understand Six Underground, one must first abandon the traditional metrics of cinema. Do not look for continuity. Do not look for the laws of physics. Do not look for silence. This film, released in 2019 upon the Netflix streaming platform, is not merely a movie. It is a manifesto of excess, a $150 million scream into the void, orchestrated by the master of Bayhem himself, Michael Bay. It represents the director fully unleashed, liberated from the constraints of theatrical age ratings and studio oversight, allowed to paint his masterpiece in broad strokes of neon green, blood red, and explosive orange. It is a film that asks a singular, terrifying question. What happens when a billionaire decides to topple a geopolitical regime because he is bored and sad? The answer is a 2-hour assault on the senses that is as exhausting as it is inexplicably mesmerizing. The narrative premise is deceptively simple, buried under layers of rapid-fire editing and drone cinematography. Ryan Reynolds plays a character known only as 1, a billionaire inventor who made his fortune in magnets, a detail that becomes hilariously relevant later in the film. Disillusioned by the bureaucratic inability of world governments to stop evil men, 1 fakes his own death to become a ghost. He is a phantom with a bank account, a vigilante with the resources of a small nation. He recruits a team of fellow ghosts, stripping them of their names and assigning them numbers. There is 2, the CIA spook, 3, the hitman, 4, the parkour running Skywalker, 5, the doctor, 6, the driver, and later, 7, the sniper. Their mission is to orchestrate a coup in the fictional nation of Turkestan, replacing its brutal dictator, Rovich Alamov, with his more democratic brother. The film opens not with a gentle introduction, but with a car chase through Florence, Italy, that lasts for nearly 20 minutes. This sequence is perhaps the purest distillation of Michael Bay's career. It is a masterclass in spatial confusion and vehicular carnage. A neon green Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio tears through ancient cobblestone streets, drifting around nuns, smashing through museums, and turning the cradle of the Renaissance into a playground for destruction. The editing here is frantic, almost subliminal. We are inside the car, we are outside the car, we are looking at an eyeball rolling on the floor, we are looking at Ryan Reynolds making a joke about Michelangelo's David. The geography of Florence is utterly disregarded. The car teleports across the city at the whim of the edit. It is disorienting, yes, but it establishes the visual language of the film immediately. Reality is secondary to the cool factor. If it looks good to have a car drift in slow motion while a parkour runner slides across the hood, then physics be damned, that is what will happen. Reynolds, as 1, anchors this chaos with his trademark brand of ironic detachment. He is the Deadpool of the geopolitical thriller genre, a man who murders bad guys while firing faster than his weapon. However, unlike his superhero persona, there is a darker, more cynical edge to 1. He is a man trying to convince himself that emotions are a liability. He preaches a doctrine of detachment to his team, insisting that they must remain ghosts not just to the world, but to each other. The film's emotional arc, such as it is, revolves around the slow erosion of this philosophy. Despite his best efforts to treat his team like disposable assets, they inevitably become a dysfunctional family unit. It is a cliché as old as the action genre itself, yet it works here primarily because the cast shares a frantic, sweaty chemistry that matches the pace of the explosions. Visually, Six Underground is a salt of saturation. Bay and his cinematographer, Oyan Bazeli, shoot the world as if it were a high-end commercial for a lifestyle that doesn't exist. The sunsets are always golden hour perfection. The shadows are deep, crushing blacks. The blood is a vibrant, candy apple red. Every frame is polished to a high sheen, creating a hyper-reality that feels less like a movie and more like a fever dream. This aesthetic reaches its peak during the Hong Kong extraction sequence. Here, the film utilizes the concept of parkour not just as a stunt, but as a camera technique. We follow 4 as he sprints down the sides of skyscrapers, the camera strapped to his body, inducing a sense of vertigo that is palpable. When the team attempts to extract the dictator's brother from a penthouse, the action shifts from verticality to sheer absurdity involving one's magnetic technology. The magnet scene deserves specific analysis as a piece of action surrealism. When the magnetic pulse is activated, the kitchen becomes a lethal environment where knives, pans, and bad guys are hurled around the room by invisible forces. It is a sequence of slapstick violence that feels like a Looney Tunes cartoon brought to life with an R rating. It is gruesome, hilarious, and completely devoid of logic, perfectly encapsulating the film's tone. Bay creates a rhythm of violence that is almost musical. Gunshots are percussion, explosions are the bass drop. The dialogue is merely the lyrics bridging the gap between the choruses of destruction. However, beneath the gloss and the gore, there is a fascinating, albeit murky, political ideology at play. The film presents a worldview that is deeply skeptical of democracy and international law. In the world of Six Underground, the United Nations is useless, and diplomacy is a joke. The only way to achieve justice is through the unilateral action of a benevolent billionaire and his private death squad. It is the ultimate neoliberal fantasy, the idea that the private sector can disrupt tyranny just as easily as it disrupts the taxi industry. One is the CEO of justice, engaging in a hostile takeover of a sovereign nation. The film does not interrogate this idea, it celebrates it. It suggests that what the world needs is not more oversight, but more good guys, with guns and no accountability. Depending on one's perspective, this is either a cathartic power fantasy or a terrifying endorsement of vigilantism. The climax of the film, set on a mega yacht in the middle of a coup d'etat, brings all these elements together in a crescendo of noise. The team uses powerful magnets again, turning the yacht into a death trap. Bodies fly, boats explode, and Reynolds delivers one-liners amidst the carnage. The dictator, Rovich, is portrayed as a cartoon villain, a man who throws his generals off buildings, making his eventual downfall feel satisfying in a primitive, bloodthirsty way. The resolution sees the good brother installed as the new leader, bringing peace and democracy to Turkestan through a montage of smiling citizens. It is a neat, tidy ending to a messy movie, suggesting that complex geopolitical conflicts can indeed be solved with enough C4 and a really fast car. What makes Six Underground stand out in the landscape of 2019 cinema is its refusal to apologize for what it is. In an era where action movies often try to be grounded, gritty, or emotionally heavy, Bay doubles down on the artificiality. He loves the hero shot, the camera circling a character from below as they look stoically into the distance, and he uses it constantly. He loves slow motion, using it to fetishize the destruction of glass, metal, and human bodies. There is a scene where a swimming pool bursts, and the water is rendered with such loving detail that it feels like a religious experience for the director. Critics largely dismissed the film as Bayhem at its worst, incoherent, loud, and misogynistic. And to be fair, it is all of those things. The editing is so rapid that it threatens to induce seizures. The female characters, while capable in combat, are often framed through a gaze that prioritizes their physical form over their characterization. The plot holes are large enough to drive the Alfa Romeo through. Yet, to dismiss the film entirely is to miss the artistry of its chaos. There is a distinct odor theory at work here. No one else makes movies like Michael Bay. He has a fingerprint as distinct as Hitchcock or Tarantino, composed not of suspense or dialogue, but of lens flares, spinning cameras, and military hardware. Six Underground is also a fascinating artifact of the Netflix blockbuster era. Released directly to streaming, it did not have to worry about opening weekend box office numbers. It was designed to be consumed on televisions, laptops, and arguably even phones. This format seems to have influenced the pacing. The movie moves so fast because it is terrified that the viewer might click away to watch The Office. It is content designed for the attention economy, a relentless stream of dopamine hits designed to keep eyes on the screen. In conclusion, Six Underground is a film that operates on the logic of a 13-year-old boy playing with action figures, financed by the GDP of a small country. It is loud, stupid, and morally questionable. It treats the Geneva Convention as a suggestion and physics as a myth. Yet, in its sheer, unadulterated commitment to spectacle, it achieves a kind of transcendence. It is pure cinema of attraction, a carnival ride of violence and color. It demands nothing from the viewer but submission to the chaos. Ryan Reynolds and his team of ghosts are not heroes in the traditional sense. They are avatars of Michael Bay's id, tearing through the world to reshape it into something more exciting, more explosive, and significantly louder. To watch it is to be bludgeoned by entertainment, and sometimes, in the dark absurdity of the modern world, that is exactly what the audience wants.